Your ARCOS system includes quite a few reports. You've probably found yourself using some specific reports in your role and generating some of them daily, weekly, or monthly. You may be required to produce some reports and share them with management too. In this video, I'll introduce you to functionality that will let you save the reports you use most frequently to make generating them easier. I'll also review functionality in ARCOS that could take over the recurrent generation and distribution of reports, relieving you of that tedious job. Let's look first at saving the reports you use most. For my example, I'll use the shift coverage report, but you can apply the same process to almost any report in ARCOS. Every Wednesday, I'm expected to generate the shift coverage report for each call center classification for the following week. This report shows whether or not we have adequate coverage based on man-hours each day. The shift coverage report generator includes the locations selector, the date selector for the date I want to run the report for, the classification to report on, and the shift hours target to apply on the report. For the call center in this example, there are 14 different classifications to report on, and different classifications have different shift hours targets. Generating these reports each week then means modifying the reporting date, the classification to report on, and the shift hours target potentially for each class. If I could save the criteria for each classification, I'd be able to generate the reports more quickly. Watch this. To generate the report manually, I must hit Reports, hit Schedule, hit Shift Coverage, select the location, select the date, select the class, set the shift hours target, and generate the report. That took about 11 clicks. But what if I saved the report? I'll need to name the report. In this case, I'll name the report for the classification I'm reporting on and include shift coverage. Notice that the selection start for the report is relative. That is, I'm not saving the report with a specific date selected. Instead, I'm saving the report with a definition that says the selection start for the generated report will be 4 days from now, because I'll run the report on a Wednesday to see shift coverage for the week beginning the next Sunday. Once I have saved this report, running it will be a snap. I'll simply hit Reports and hit Saved and scroll to my report and hit Run. 3 clicks. That was only 3 clicks. Huge difference, right? Now, imagine if I could rely on ARCOS to automatically run that report on Wednesday for the next week beginning Sunday and email the report to me so it would be waiting in my inbox when I get to work on Wednesday. Let's make it happen. First, in order to receive an email from ARCOS, I have to have an email address in the system and enabled. I know I do, but you might have to check your employee record to see if you have an email address saved and if it's enabled for communications from ARCOS. If you don't have an email address saved or it's not enabled, make the necessary changes. Now I'll schedule the report. I'll scroll to the shift coverage report I saved and hit the schedule link. I'll use the schedule batch recurrence settings to set up the scheduled generation and distribution of the report. First, I select the mode, that is, how frequently the report will be run. Once I've selected the mode, I'll be able to define the pattern. In this example, I want the report to run weekly, that's the mode, on Wednesday, that's the pattern. I'll set the run time to 5 a.m. so I can be sure the report is in my mailbox waiting for me when I sign in. Because I'll be viewing the report on my laptop, not on my phone, I'll select Full for my email device setting, and I'll have the report attached to the email I receive as an XLS file, so I can save it and open it in Excel if I need to. I'll save these selections to set the schedule. You'll notice that the schedule batch recurrence information is updated to show the next scheduled run of the report. The last run will also be updated each time the report is run. Next, I need to identify the recipients of this report. I'll click on Add Recipients. ARCOS will present me with a list of all the ARCOS users in the current location and indicate whether they have an enabled email address saved in the system. For employees that do have an email address enabled, I can check the box to add them to the distribution list for the report. Did you notice the Change button at the top of the table? If there's another ARCOS user I want to send this report to, but that user is in a different location, I can change my location to find that user to add him to the distribution list for this report. I must remember to hit Save to record my recipients. And that's it. I'm done. Now, you will need to go through this process for each of your reports, which will take some time initially. But once the reports are set up this way, you will reap the benefits of extra time. You might even stop for coffee on your way into the office on Wednesdays from now on.